Warning, this podcast discusses paranormal activity and other topics some might find disturbing. Listener discretion is advised. Okay, so I was smart. I already got my 4 seconds of silence. So.
Oh, man, that is not okay.
I learned. Work smarter, not harder.
I'm disappointed in you. Don't do that again.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ashley.
And I'm Daniel.
Welcome to Ghost Gossip.
Welcome, y'all.
Today, we are talking about something really cool, but before we get into it, just a life update. I went to Disney with middle schoolers.
Now that
is
is on the paranormal spectrum, and I'm sure it was very scary and frightening at times.
It was spooky. It was spookier than any other paranormal entity I have ever come across.
Surrounded by apparitions.
Oh, yes. Oh, gosh. Which was hormonal 7th and 8th graders who know everything.
Correct, bruh.
Who want to wear nothing but crop tops and booty shorts.
That's right, chat.
And it's like, cover yourself up. This is not school appropriate.
Come on, fam.
It wasn't just our children.
Oh, I know. I'm very aware.
The vice principal was there, and I was really hopeful that he would
step in, interject.
I was really hoping he would interject with some of because they told the chaperones, you are not here to discipline. Like, you just chaperone. We'll handle the discipline.
Yeah, you're supposed to make sure that they come home alive. That's your job.
Right, and they did. We did have one student that kept wandering off, but he was not in my group. Thankfully.
I would have probably been that kid.
You probably would have, because he was just like walking around looking at everything. And then before we knew it, he was like 20, 30, 40, 50 and counting feet away from us. And we're all calling him. And he's like, da. He was in his own little world, looking around. And it was like, no, come back. It was the running joke the whole time. Where is he? Where is he? He wondered a few times.
Well,
Yeah, we had to put
It is the land of wonder.
They say it's the happiest place on earth, but
not with middle schoolers. I can only imagine. I wouldn't have been able to survive that.
I think the hardest part is getting to the park. So waking up at 6 a.m., making sure all the kids were downstairs by a certain time, and then being at the park at 9, and then staying at the park until 9:30 p.m. every single night.
It's a long day of wonderment.
And, I'm old. I'm old. My back hurts. There's no place comfy to sit down. They don't want you to sit down at Disney.
Oh, no. They want you to walk around and spend that dinero.
Yeah, spend your money.
Duolingo coming in handy this morning.
I know. He does his Duolingo every night. He gets mad because...
Yeah, you interrupt me with the Spanish.
I get excited because I'm like, oh, I know what that means.
Well, I am trying to get the questions correct. And I have a horrible Spanish accent, as you all can probably imagine.
He does have a really bad Spanish accent.
Yes.
But anyway, yes, we went to Disney, me and the girls with the orchestra. They did amazing. They got an excellent rating.
Yep.
The top is like superior. So they did really well. And I will never, ever, if I ever say, hey, I'm going to chaperone a field trip, I just want you to punch me square in the face.
I am going to put my foot down.
Be like, you remember Disney?
Yes.
It was fun. It was a lot of good memories. The last time I took my daughter to Disney, she was 5. She had a beautiful belle dress on, and she threw the biggest public meltdown that I've ever witnessed. And my mom was there, and I literally had to walk away because I was fuming mad. And it was August, so it was hot.
Blazing hot in
yes,
Florida.
And I was probably 80 pounds heavier too, so I'm like fighting for my life out there. Dragging this child dressed as a tiny belle who has the spirit of a wild horse.
Of beast.
Oh my God. I was like...
She was Beauty and the Beast that day.
Oh yeah, she was everything. I was the beast. What you talking about? I was the beast because here I am. I'm a single mom. My mom's there. My mom, who is an earth angel, who is just like, oh, it's okay, Ashley. It's okay, bluebirds. Where are your... I love you, Mom. Where are your bluebirds? Oh, my bluebirds are dead. I have no more bluebirds, Mom.
Yeah.
It's all gross. But yes, and then this trip, she was a 13-year-old know-it-all who runs her mouth, so nothing's changed.
Yeah, with a busted knee, and you had to push her around in a wheelchair one day.
And we were taking out ankles, to the ladies that my daughter hit with her wheelchair because she was so hell-bent on pushing it herself. She took out some ladies' ankles.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry.
A shopping cart at her age.
Yeah, it was bad. I'm so sorry. They probably have matching bruises. But on the way back from Disney in a charter bus for 12 hours.
Sounds delightful.
I didn't mind the ride down. I really didn't mind riding in a charter bus that length, that distance.
I'm not a good passenger, period.
No, you're not. You're a horrible passenger for another podcast. Whew. I need therapy just to recover from you being a passenger princess for 6 months.
You're such a good driver, babe.
I'm a wonderful driver.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, how many curbs have you hit recently?
1.
No, several.
No.
Yes, several. I have hit none.
Okay, because I do most of the driving now. When you were driving for that 6 months, you took out some curbing.
You know what? They jump right out in front of me.
Yeah. You can barely see over the steering wheel, though.
Shut up. Not that short.
Get you some phone books. You could even find phone books these days.
You can't find them. You can probably find them at our parents' house. They probably have some saved in the attic.
When we start seeing phone books in the antique stores, we're already seeing stuff from our childhood in the antique stores, and it's very depressing.
We are seeing Blackberries.
Yeah,
and Razor phones.
I did get a good deal on some Tupperware cups.
Oh,
the
yeah.
original Tupperware cups, the tall, skinny ones, straight banger cups.
One of your daughters was using them for cat food the other day.
No.
I handled it.
Okay.
You're serious about
this is the first I'm hearing about this.
You're serious about your Tupperware cups.
Yeah, I got to mail my sister one for her birthday. Her birthday's this week.
That's right. 24th?
24th, that's right.
Yeah.
She'll be older than us.
44.
Yes.
Yeah, 'cause she's my sister's age.
Yep.
Because my sister is also older.
Older.
Okay, so anyway, on the charter bus back from Disney. So when we went there, Jacksonville traffic is really slow through Jacksonville. And I think what it is that interchange between I-10 and I-95. Mm-hmm. We crept through Jacksonville on the way to Disney, but on the way back is when I saw it.
Fun fact about Jacksonville.
Okay.
It's a city that has the largest area footprint, if you will, in the entire United States. It is a large, spread out city.
So you're talking about like kind of how Greenville seems really big and Columbia seems really big, so it's bigger than that. Like it's just spread out.
It's completely spread out. The area that it takes up is massive.
Interesting.
Yes. Fun fact for you.
I love fun facts. He has a lot of historical fun facts, so this one's going to be fun for him because I really took a deep dive.
I'm really excited.
So on the way back, we were on the northbound lane coming up 95. Everybody's tired, but the kids are not sleeping. They are loud. Even the director was like, they have never this loud. They're usually sleeping. Mm-hmm. But I think the problem was we had mainly girls. And they were doing their hair and makeup, and so they were squealing. Oh. Yeah, I kept my headphones on most of the trip.
It was like the 7th level of hell.
Yes, it was rough. But as we came up on the interchange, I saw on the right-hand side of the interstate this mammoth of a building. It was huge.
I don't think the pictures do it justice as far as size goes.
No, it really doesn't, because when I told you about it, you were just, I knew you knew that I was saying it was big, but like I look at the pictures online and it's like, when we passed it, it was so close. It looked like it was in the lane of travel.
That's crazy.
It looked like
the road's turned there, right?
Yeah, it kind of curves. Yeah. So it's kind of in a curve. We'll get there. Instantly, the director saw it the same time I did. And she was like, what is that? And I'm like, ooh, that looks haunted AF. Clearly I've been with middle schoolers too long. So I was like, that looks haunted. And, I told her, and she's like, I'm not a huge fan of paranormal things. And she just kind of stared at me like after she said that. And I took that as no thank you, but in her very polite way, that she didn't want to talk about ghosts. And I'm ready all the time to talk about ghosts.
Well, she may have had a experience and it freaked her out and she didn't like talking about it. That's kind of what it sounds like.
Probably, and that's usually when something scares somebody, they don't want to talk about it.
Sure.
But, so she said that. I respected it. We changed the subject. But because I am a paranormal sweetheart and I'm like, I got to know more, I Googled it.
Of course you did.
We were going very slow, so I was able to pull up the map and zoom in. What that building is that is slowly weathering away on the side of 95 is Public School number 4.
That's just a creepy name.
It is such
it really is like
name.
Schoolhouse number 4.
Public School.
What about 1, 2, and 3?
I don't know.
Or 5, 6, and 7?
Well, I kind of had that same thought. When you pass it, because we were going slow enough, what's really creepy is above the front entrance is Public School number 4.
It's such a generic, creepy name for
It
a
is,
school.
but it's carved
Oh, it's carved in
It's
the wood?
carved in the cement. It's over the entrance. It's carved into it. And so I was thinking, there's no way this building is called Public School Number 4.
In fact, it is.
Okay, so what this school was, or what this building is, it's actually a school. It was an elementary school. So Public School Number 4 was Duval County's 4th public school, hence the name.
Number 4.
The name can easily be seen if you're going really slow, but if you're not, you're probably not going to see it. But like when I say this building is close, it looks like it's like you can reach out your window and just touch it.
Yeah.
In one source material I read, it said that the county had set a $1 million budget for the school. And I just started thinking, like, it seemed like a lot for that time period. Because usually the budgets that we look at for these like sanitariums or the prisons, it was like $80,000, $150,000. But this was $1 million. And I was like,
What time frame are we talking about?
1917.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge budget.
Right. So here, remember I told you I mathed for this episode?
Yeah.
All right, watch out now, okay?
This might be scary. This might be the scariest thing all episode.
Oh, it's terrifying. Okay. So I was like, that seems like astronomical because of the inflation from 1917 until 2025.
Yeah.
$1 million in 1917 in today's money is $24,984,296.88.
Wow.
See, again, seems astronomical. So
Yeah.
I was like, wait, okay, give me a second because I need to do math. And I used to tell my old boss, you did not hire me for math, so please don't expect that from me. Okay. And she would laugh like that and then tell me to go do my job. And I'm like, okay, well, because I had to calculate speedy trial. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, girl, you did not hire me for this.
So is that counting or math?
What, speedy trial?
No. Like
This is math.
for speedy trial, is that just counting days or is that actually just math?
So it's counting days. So after somebody is seen or arrested, depending on the complaint or in the indictment, they have 70 days per Speedy Trial Act to go before a jury.
Right. So that's counting.
No. Oh, friend, that doesn't take into account all the motions and the hearings and all the excludables that are added in that you have to do.
Ah, so
yes, it's counting the 70 days. Any dum-dum can do that.
but it's adding and subtracting as well.
Yes. So there's also things like time periods. So for motions, technically, motions that are pending have 30 excludable days. So if you have like 5 pending motions, technically you have 30 days per motion.
Oh, okay.
So let me tell you something. Your girl can math. I don't like it. It makes my head hurt. I don't have to do that anymore. I thought I had forgotten. I thought I'd forgotten how to do it, but look at me now.
I'm proud of you, babe.
Thank you.
You mathing.
I'm mathing. I'm a math girly now.
Yes.
Okay. So I was thinking about our elementary school. Like, how much would it cost to build our elementary school in our area? I Googled it. Our elementary school has 990 students roughly right now.
1,000 students.
I did 990.
Okay.
That's what I did my math on. On the average for the United States, it costs $295 per square foot for an elementary school. And each student needs between 40 to 50 square feet per student.
Okay.
Okay, so I did that math, and that equals roughly to build that school in our area for 990 students, it would be $35.3 million.
Wow.
In today's money. Okay, look at me. So how I had to get that was I had to take the number of students, multiply it by the square footage, and then multiply that by 295.
Right.
I know how to multiply. I'm really good at multiplying. To me, $24 million seems like back in that time period, that's like, wow, like they really, really wanted this building to be like
Top notch.
right, especially for its time. Like,
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I will say my bubble was kind of burst because I read another website and it said was actually for 12 schools and they had to divide it. So the budget for public school number 4 was $250,000.
Oh, wow.
Right. So that's about more appropriate.
Yes.
In today's money, that would be $5,259,453.64.
Gotcha.
We're a math podcast now?
Yes. No, we're not.
No, hell no. I hate math. I like it, but I hate it. I like numerology.
Yes. A little different.
My life number is 3. So originally the school was a small wood building. And there was a huge fire in Jacksonville about 1901 that took out a lot of Jacksonville. 1950, it was deemed a fire hazard. 1917, they decided to build like this turn of a century building. In 1918, it opened its doors as a Riverside Grammar School. It was later renamed the Annie Lythle Elementary School, and that was named for one of their long-standing principals, and she was also known as Miss Annie, or I had to add this in because it made me laugh, Old Prune Face.
Oh, old prune face. She was beloved by her students.
Old Pruny Face. And she was known because she was very strict, and she was a stern disciplinarian. And so they named the school after her. Because of the fires, they wanted to build this school that's fireproof, which is ironic. The school was built out of poured concrete and brick. It was designed to withstand anything, which is, again, the irony.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know now, that just makes me sad because they had such huge hopes for this building and their expectations were, I mean, think about it. This building is huge. If you look at it, it takes up a huge section of, I think that I read it was like 40,000 square feet.
Yeah, so it was going to be like a statement piece of the educational system down there.
And it's also in the shape of an E, like a capital E. So if you Google it, you see it. But they did it so it would produce airflow through the building.
Yes.
Because there was no AC and they had very poor electrical through the school. And so they used big windows for light.
Yes, and being the HVAC guy that I am, my mind goes to natural drafts,
right?
Convection.
Mm-hmm. Especially in Florida. Like you have the breeze off the ocean, but it's hot.
Yeah, you got to get air movement or it just gets stagnant and humid. So
there was really no good place to put this next section, so I just kind of added it here since we're talking about the construction of the building. The architect who designed the building was Rutledge Holmes, and he has a sad ending to his story, which it kind of goes with the school because the school also is sad. In his final years, his wife died in 1925. He underwent a mental health stay at the school down there. And then on May 2nd, your birthday.
That is my birthday.
1929, he committed suicide in his office after drinking heavily. And he left a note. And when they found him, he said, quote, "Do not notify anyone. I have some pains in the region of my heart. Should I die, I would like to be wrapped in one of my camping blankets and buried under some pretty trees in the country in an unmarked grave. Take what I have in Quincy for the trouble."
That is sad.
That is so sad.
Very sad.
Oh, rest in peace, Mr. Holmes. Yeah. All right. So per Wikipedia, and you know Wikipedia kind of pulls all its information and people can edit. Yeah. But per Wikipedia, the school originally was built overlooking Riverside Park, and that is why it's in the location it's in. The interstate wasn't there.
Yeah. That was way before the interstate system designed by Eisenhower was developed.
1956 is when the commission for the interstates went in by Eisenhower.
It is actually a military infrastructure project.
Interesting. I read that, but then I lost interest and I didn't add that in. Once the interstates were constructed, the construction isolated the school. JacksonMagazine.com states, quote, "The school's end was hastened by the construction of what became Interstate 95. Starting in 1954, Jacksonville began work on the Fuller-Warren Bridge, part of the burgeoning expressway network that marked a new epoch of car-centered development." The article continues by saying, "The expressway routes were partly chosen to facilitate the demolition of supposed blighted areas to serve as physical barriers between black and white neighborhoods. In Annie Lythle Elementary's case, the bridge separated white Riverside from largely black Brooklyn. The expressway also took out part of Riverside Park and cut the school off from the neighborhood it served. And just months after the Fuller-Warren fully opened in March 1960, Annie Lythle Elementary School bells rang for the final time." End quote. They said that they closed it mainly because of the noise.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
It's right there.
Yeah, you got a major highway running basically through the roof.
Literally, it was so close. And so on this, especially on the second floor, because when you pass by the building, the northbound lane is like even with the second floor. And they said that the sound was drowning out the classes. The kids could not hear, the teachers could not hear because it was just cars zooming by. Yeah. And how loud were cars back in the 50s and 60s?
I'm not sure. I wasn't alive.
I know, but I mean, they've gotten quieter as cars have gotten progressively better.
It's funny though. Well, it's not funny, but I believe that still does go on as far as using infrastructure projects to divide parts of a community for gentrification reasons, which is also sad. Yeah.
I was about to say that's sad. It makes me sad because you would think in 2025 we would be beyond that. One article I read said that public school number 4 stands awkwardly in downtown Jacksonville. Its facade masked by the ramps and interstates which have been constructed around her, almost as if the building doesn't stand there. This quote was on the Forgotten South's website, and I think it sums it up perfectly. If you have not seen it, Google it. It truly looks like the city just grew around it, and it's standing there forgotten, frozen in time. Like it is just, everything has changed, and yet that is...
It's a reminder of days gone by.
Yep. The school was permanently closed to the public in 1960. They stated it was the noise from the interstates. The school district later used it for office space and storage, and they used it for 10 years. But it was condemned in 1971 due to safety concerns. It was falling apart.
Yeah.
It hadn't been taken care of. The building was sold in 1975 and was supposed to be a Christian school, but the people that bought it for the Christian school, they failed to follow the regulations. Whoever had the building, which I guess was the county, they bought the school back.
Gotcha.
It then sold in 1980 for $168,000 with the intention of turning it into senior citizens apartment complexes. But that never happened due to lack of federal funding because the federales, we ruin everything.
The man.
A halfway kid.
The man cometh down.
A kid. But then again, I worked for them. And let me tell you, they can make things very difficult.
We all have experienced that in one way, shape, or form.
Damn the man. A fire occurred in 1995, which caused part of the roof over the atrium to cave in. In 1999, the school sold again with the intention to convert it into condominiums. But there was a large community outcry. And instead of repurposing the building, the school was designated as a historic landmark in 2000. And so that's why it's still there.
Yeah,
because they can't do anything to it.
But nobody's maintaining it still.
We'll get there.
Okay.
But up until...
That was a question. So.
Oh, it sounded more like a statement.
It was a question.
That was real, confident. Put your whole chest into that. In 2011, the school sold again for the tax deed of $86,000.
Yeah. Got to pay those taxes.
In 2012, another fire ripped through the building, and that kind of ruined and demolished everything that was left of the atrium or the auditorium. And now that's where it sits abandoned and vacant. And I mean, it really is sad. It's boarded up, it's covered in graffiti, and it's fallen apart. And like most abandoned buildings, it has become a hotspot for vandalism, crime, drug use, and a place for unhoused individuals and alleged cult and satanic rituals.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me. It's I'll just throw this little bit of information in there as well. You've probably never dug into buildings in general, but
No.
After 12 months of a building just sitting vacant, the deterioration of a building just after 12 months is remarkable to see.
Really?
Yeah. The state of disrepair after a building sits vacant for just even 12 months. You can imagine after decades, if you just go and look at some pictures, if it starts deteriorating just in 12 months, imagine
40 years.
Yeah. The ceilings start caving in. There's nothing going on. It's just sitting there to decay. It's like people. If you're not moving, you just start.
And body emotion stays in motion.
Yep.
Yeah. So I looked, because this is a haunted paranormal podcast, and I tried to find more of the haunted history of it. And I went down deep rabbit holes of just history, because people contacted me on Instagram and TikTok saying, I've lived around this building my whole life. I want to know more about it. I was like, okay, I need to dive into this and get my information for this episode. And so much history. And I found what I guess the locals would call the haunted history of it.
Yeah.
And it's all the same. But from what I read from visitors, maybe people that probably shouldn't have been in there at one point or another, explorers.
Yeah.
The scariest part about it was how dangerous it was because of its disrepair.
Yeah.
Once the school was shut down, it was isolated, of course, and it was given the name the Devil's School. And it's said to be one of the most haunted places in Jacksonville. There were several local myths about the school. And now, I don't do well reading other people's writing, but I'm going to read from StAugustineGhostStories.com because they have all the myths they had it in a good article. So I'm just going to...
So it's mostly like myths and urban legends as far as the paranormal.
So it says, quote, "The urban legends and myths surrounding the Devil's School became its main attraction. The most infamous story was that of the cannibal principal. Legend has it that the principal would call bad students into his office for a chat, and after that, they would never return. Officially, the children were suspended or expelled. Unofficially, some students suspected that the students were being consumed by their evil headmaster. The principal had a closet, which he converted into a meat locker, where the children were hung on spikes until he could eat them."
Wow.
According to some legends, multiple faculty members were involved in the terror, and the principal was the ringleader. You know what?
What a elementary school conspiracy theory that is.
I know, we were talking about conspiracy theories last night.
Yes. But that one takes the cake.
Well, what's crazy is I'm pretty sure I had a cannibal principal a time or two in my elementary days too,
What?
But you think about it. You think about how horrible and how mean they are. And,
yeah.
and then you become an adult and you're like, I get it. They're angry because of you.
They're eating, they're a lot of times, maybe not physically, but they're eating your soul.
The children are the reason that the parents get a little bit crazy as they get older.
No, that is fact. That is a fact.
If we get a little short-tempered, there's a reason. Yeah. I was more fun. I was a lot more fun in my 20s.
We've told the kids, we are fun. We used to be fun.
We used to be really
We
cool.
used to be people.
We used to be other things other than parents.
I used to be somebody.
When you're not around, we are a blast.
Yeah. Which is really horrible if you think about it, but
It's not wrong
it's not wrong.
because we have 3.
Yeah, and you're supposed to be an example to them.
Right.
I'm still 22
No, you're not.
in my mind.
I'm 28 in my mind. My girls tell me all the time, you look 28. I'm like, thank you. I love you so much because I feel so old. I'm losing my hearing. I have constant ringing in my ears. I have vertigo. Okay, so anyway, the article continues. It said that the school's janitor was evil too. Legends say that the janitor would kidnap unsuspecting students, take them down to the boiler room, and boil them alive.
There's a lot of cooking references in these kids.
You know, that age, a lot of imagination.
You know what? And I just want to say, janitors get a bad rap, and I don't like that. They do a important job.
They are doing God's work.
And you know what?
Think about it. They clean up after hundreds of children.
Give your local janitors a little word of encouragement the next time you see them, because they are godsends.
They really are. They're earth angels.
And get a lot of bad publicity and just a bad rap, and I don't like that.
If I was a janitor, I'd probably be cranky and scowl at everybody too.
Yeah, you cleaning up little kids' puke and their toilets.
All right, let's keep going. After so many victims, one of the students escaped, causing some of the equipment to malfunction in the ensuing struggle, which led to an explosion. The resulting fire killed multiple students, and the school had to be temporarily shut down. When classes came back in session, the school was haunted by the ghost of the dead children. Some teachers were so frightened that they quit, unable to cope with the tragedy. Another story of another evil principal, but this time he outright murdered the students. According to the legends, the principal had been going mad from the stress of the job.
Well, I'm sure he was, but these fantastical stories are over the top.
And he was tired of constantly dealing with unruly children.
Well, no
No shit. One day he snapped and went completely berserk. He went on a rampage through the school, murdering the children via blunt force trauma, leaving trails of blood in its wake. End quote. Again, none of this has ever been proven. There's no evidence.
This is not substantiated.
And these, like you said, fantastical stories, there would be some kind of record if the school shut down. Or a fire.
Yeah, there would be public records of principals murdering and eating and boiling children.
And a meat locker. And yes. That's why I chuckle, because they're so over dramatized. Yeah. It's like, I'm not laughing, but I'm laughing.
I'm definitely laughing.
The last story that they cited said, quote, the most recent urban legend is that these satanic rituals took place on the school grounds. Some say the rituals began while the school was still open, having been started by faculty members, and continued to use the building for rituals after it was condemned. Others say the rituals began recently, long after the school was shut down. Either way, the inside of the building is covered in graffiti, much of it satanic in nature. Upside down crosses and pentagrams can be seen all around the building, end quote. Now that's probably true.
Oh yeah, I absolutely believe that's true. Yeah. And who knows what ramifications have come from that.
Right. Well, and when you have abandoned buildings, we talked about this. When it's abandoned and you have any kind of dark energy in, when I say dark energy, I don't mean the cannibal principal and the janitor who's boiling children alive. Right. But like a lot of drug activity, maybe overdoses, maybe some unaliving of individuals who are in that area and vicinity. Darkness attracts darkness. Yeah. Negative energy attracts negative energy.
Oh, it's definitely got a negative vibe. You could. I didn't ride by it, but I'm sure just riding by it, you kind of.
It was dark. It was dark. Like I look over and it just has this darkness about it.
It's kind of repulsive almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because, like at the Crescent, you drive up to it and it's like, wow. Right. And it's not like.
It's intriguing.
Even though there was a heaviness about it because of the man that should not be named, it was still like a welcoming place. Mm-hmm. This building, although beautiful, there was such a heavy darkness about it. And again, I just want to point out there's no actual evidence of any of these claims. But one article I read in the Jackson magazine said that, and this guy comes up in a second, but him and his friends actually broke in and did some of the graffiti back in, I think, 80s or 90s. Yeah. And when a news crew went in there, they actually showed one of their, and they said he painted like a VW bug on there, and it was like nice and like hippie, like peace. And then another room was like peace and flowers. And then the other one was flames. And that's the one that the news showed because it was right in the satanic panic.
Yeah, that's the one that makes the headline.
Yeah. And he's like, they didn't show the VW bug. I thought that was
I
funny.
didn't show my complete gallery.
Right, like, come on now. People of the area that know this building, they say that most of course, what we kind of alluded to, most of these legends come from the imaginations of the children at the time and then teenagers of the building sitting vacant all these years.
Yeah, and it keeps perpetuating its kind of legend.
Mm-hmm. So all that information, again, came from StAugustineGhostTours.com. Check them out. I saw this. We have a place in Fernandina, and I'm like, okay, next time we go, we're going to take a day trip.
We're going to go check it out.
Yes, I want to set up a ghost tour. St. Augustine is beautiful and has a lot of haunted history as well.
It has a rich history in St. Augustine.
Outside of those legends, visitors have reported hearing laughter of children and seeing shadow figures and hearing unexpected noises. Some visitors have heard footsteps and like children running up the hall or the grand staircase through the hallways. And when they get to where they hear the footsteps, I just got chills, there's nothing there.
So a lot of residual.
Yes. They also have reported seeing, I'm getting like full body chills. Children peeking around the corners and then nothing. There was nothing there. The guy talking about the paintings, he said that one of the stories, he never heard the legends that I talked about, but he did hear about a man hanging himself over the stage in the building and that the body was hanging there for a while and people would see his body.
Oh, wow.
Again, no evidence, anything to substantiate that, but
with those stories from the kids, it doesn't sound like it was really a happy place to go to school.
I think because if you think back, I know with what I read about old pruny face, Miss Annie.
Yeah.
She was so stern. She'd make them line up. School wasn't like it is today where it's like, they can play and be on their laptops and have free time.
But this even sounds kind of more
and it could have been
darker than even most schools back then.
It could have been. I read that it was strict, but I didn't read any specific stories.
Well, just from the kids' minds going to where they went, it sounds like there was definitely a tension between the administration and staff and the children.
Yeah, maybe. So, because of the rumors, trespassers have often visited the schoolhouse in attempts to see a ghost or spirit that haunts the abandoned building and has become a problem. So the Annie Lythle Preservation Group, they kind of took over the property and they're the ones that take care of the property to this day.
Gotcha.
So they're a group of volunteers and they do take care of the property. They're the sole protectors dedicated to saving the building. The group stated that the boiler never exploded and killed kids. The janitor never killed kids. It's all nonsense. It never happened. The group has also warned people in a Facebook post, also on news articles. I saw several news articles saying that trespassers will be arrested if caught on the property and emphasize that they have a very close relationship with the Jacksonville Sheriff's offices and 10 people have been arrested so far.
Well, I mean, it's a safety issue now.
It is. It's very dangerous. And people, they vandal.
Yeah.
It's covered in spray. If you see the pictures of this, I'll show you some later. The interior is covered in graffiti. And although some of the graffiti, of course, is art and it is pretty, it's ruined, like on the chalkboards, on the walls. I mean,
I like graffiti.
I know you do. And I do too.
As artwork.
Not as
vandalism.
Yeah. Historian Paul Bremer states, the only thing that's haunted about the building are the vandals who have destroyed it. Teens used to break in and graffiti the walls as a rite of passage. The noises people heard are just barn owls.
Maybe, Mr. Bremer.
Maybe. What do you know?
Yeah, are you the expert?
Are you a paranormal investigator?
Are you just towing the Jacksonville County line?
The Annie Lythle Preservation Group began in 2005, and it's a group of volunteers who are dedicated to the preservation of the building. And I will say this, guys, there's a fence. They have put a fence up. They have worked very hard to kind of take care of the building. They've cleaned up so much trash since, really 20 years. And do not trespass. Do not break in. From what I read on Reddit, because I didn't see ghost stories on Reddit either. I actually dove into Reddit and didn't see any ghost stories. But what I read on Reddit, it is heavily patrolled by the police and you will be arrested.
Yeah. Those people, the Preservation Society, they sound like good people.
Yes. And they are all volunteers.
Mm-hmm. But they sound like they have a good purpose. Like they're approaching this as really preserving this building and preserving this part of history in Jacksonville. And
they want to save it.
And that's a really admirable thing. So good on them.
Mm-hmm. They want to save the building. And, when I first saw that building, I looked at it and it's haunted. And then one of my friends on Instagram, her name's Amy. She lives in Jacksonville and she's a listener. Hi, Amy. She said that place is haunted. And that was my initial thought when I saw it. And she she lives in that area and she's heard about it. But the thing is, and I'm sure if I kept going, I've been researching this all week. I could not find just a thread of ghost stories of individuals. And that's probably because it is so protected and people can't get in in there like they used to be able to could. They used to be able to could. But it definitely has a vibe.
Yeah,
it has a lot of darkness.
That's what I was going to say. There's definitely an energy surrounded it, I'm sure.
I'm sure if they allowed a paranormal investigation group, like a legit group, not just explorers, to go in there and do an investigation, if it was safe, they would probably pick up some evidence. But as of right now, it's all just legend and folklore and
rich history.
A lot of rich history. It's a beautiful building. And guys, if you've never seen it, look it up. And I'm going to do my TikTok and share it, but it really sits so close to the interstate. I was shocked at how close it was. And I was like, why is it still there? And the orchestra director was like, why haven't they tore that down? And I'm thinking, you can't tear, that's beautiful. But it's historic. And that's why it's still there.
Very cool.
Isn't that neat?
It is very neat.
Yep. I knew I had to learn about it the moment I saw it, and I feel like I could tell you everything about it.
I love everything about this episode, the history, the you mathing part.
I mathed.
Yeah.
I mathed.
But you mathing doesn't math.
No, it doesn't, because I don't like math. Like, people will start like mentioning numbers and looking at me, and I look at Daniel, I'm like, and I'll just like walk away. But no, like I did multiplication. I was Googling, I found how many students are in the local elementary school. I found what the average cost per student would be, or per square foot would be, and then did that. And then, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, a deep, deep dive for you.
For math, yeah. But I love the research, all this. And the thing is, the legends that I saw with all these websites, I'm going to link there were several. I'm going to link all the websites that I use so you can check them out. Look at the pictures. They are beautiful and haunting. The pictures are just haunting. They're all the same. Written differently, but all the information was the same. You had the cannibal principal. You had the boiling
janitor.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know why that makes me laugh, because it just seems so. And we know that things have happened in schools that have been horrible, and there have been faculty members that have abused children and abused the trust, and but
it's almost like a comic book story.
Yeah, it seems like it was a story written by an elementary school with that imagination, and but then again, you just never know. But there's no evidence.
Yeah, I really like learning about the history of this building.
Yes. What should we do next?
I don't know.
I think, Justin mentioned
the Winsboro.
The witch of the Winsboro. The witch of the Winsboro. The Winsboro witch.
Yep.
I might look into that.
100 years after the Salem witch trials.
Yes.
That'd be a good one. We could take a trip up there one day.
It's right up the road. I used to live in Ridgeway, so I used to live in that area, and I never heard about it before then. But, Daniel says I'm a little witchy, so... let's go. Let's do it. I love it. And I do want to do the Salem witch trials.
We'll have to take a trip to Massachusetts.
Oh, yes. That is on my list. I want to go of course, I want to go in the fall.
We have to go see a Red Sox game if we're up there.
I'm okay with that.
So we have to go during baseball season. Plus, we need to go in the spring or summer so it's not frigid cold.
I want to go in fall.
Okay. It starts getting chilly.
But it's hot. If you want to go to Salem, you have to go around October.
But that's the busy time. That's when prices increase. I know. Unless the Red Sox make the playoffs, there's going to be games. So
we'll talk about it. We'll have to compromise. We'll have to find a good time. Maybe like September.
Well, I'll look at the schedule. Boston's a cool city.
I've never been to Boston.
It's a cool city.
If you have any ideas or places that I should research or feature on the podcast, please let me know. You can send that to me at ghostgossip247@gmail.com. I have a YouTube channel now.
You do?
I do. And you can, I want to do video. I want to start recording our episodes and sharing those there because people like visual, but I'm not there yet. I'm trying. Guys, I'm not there yet. I look like a troll that came out from under a bridge at the moment.
That's not true.
Oh, well, yes, it is. You just love me. I look ratchet.
Let me get under that bridge.
Oh, shut up. It wouldn't be an episode without a sexual innuendo from you. Nope. It wouldn't be our episode. Nope. Find me on YouTube. It's Ghost Gossip, I believe. TikTok at Ghost Gossip Pod. Instagram at Ghost Gossip Podcast. And as always, thank you for listening. We love y'all so much. Until next time, they'll see you later.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Sounds of pleasure ringing through the night. Sounds of pleasure. Or is it fright?
Did you just make that up?
Yes.